The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome, everybody, to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more, into the breach do we go, dear friends.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have going on today? Well, I thought we'd probably be a little down today. We've been able to buck back up 4 points in the S&P 500. Dow's up 5, the NASDAQ's up 22. Things just keep getting rosier. When we look at the Russell, it's just up a buck. Crude oil's up a nickel and gold's off 450. But, you know, just not a whole lot of downward pressure on anything right now, including gold or crude oil. But I think that there's some good trading setting up. There is a reason where I don't think we're moving too far, too fast in the next few days. We'll discuss that here in the news. As always, when news breaks, I'm here to fix it. And we've got a few other things going on today, but, you know, just the regular, usual stuff. We'll talk about Intel a little bit. I had some questions about my discussion with Tom O'Brien on Friday. So we'll spend a couple minutes on that. Won't go very long. But other than that, just kind of a quiet day, and we'll talk about why it's not going to get very quiet starting probably about Wednesday and going in through the next week. So, well, let's get our history in for the day, and then we'll start on stocks.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1877, Crazy Horse and his warriors, outnumbered, low on ammunition, and forced to use outdated weapons to defend themselves, fight their final losing battle against the U.S. cavalry in Montana. 6 months earlier, the Battle of Little Bighorn, Crazy Horse and his ally Chief Sitting Bull led their combined forces of the Sioux and Cheyenne to a stunning victory over Lieutenant George Custer and his men. The Indians were resisting the U.S. government's efforts to force them back into the reservations. And, of course, didn't go so well for them. But, oh, well, life moves on. On this day in 1877, kind of the end of the Indian insurrection in the Western Territories. Other things going on and why I think we're probably looking for kind of a sideways market. We're getting into that earnings call. And tomorrow we go to Acuity Brands, Schnitzer Steel, handful of others. WD-40, always one of my favorite products. Doesn't do so much as a stock, but that's it. Earnings on Wednesday, of course, really starts the earnings cycle in earnest with Lennar and KB Homes. So we're going to get a fairly decent and good look at the housing market. Also, probably more interesting is going to be the conference call, which they say how they think they're going to do going forward with the tax changes and a lot of what's going on in that this year. They've been fairly unvocal about what it's going to do to them long term. I can only assume that they've got their ducks in a row, and we'll be able to say, but we'll get a much better read on earnings and the long term on U.S. housing come Wednesday. Thursday, we have Delta Airlines, a handful of other ones, but no big deal on that one, but we do have Delta. Friday, getting into the Super Bowl territory here with J.P. Morgan, Wells Fargo, BlackRock, PNC, Infosys, Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory. Wow, I never heard of that one before, so I put it in there. Maybe someone knows something about it and call in. Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory. Do they actually have a factory in the Rocky Mountains? Inquiring minds need to know. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. And on a quiet day like this, I would appreciate it. Anyway, got a handful of more earnings next week. And like I said, forever. And Mark Twain said, whenever you find yourself on the side of majority, it's time to pause and reflect. So what do we have? We've got a few minutes left. Wanted to talk about Intel. Had some questions from Friday. Yes, I have updated my system. And we will show you. If you actually get all your patches installed and everything correct, what you will do is run a little script in PowerShell. And with that, you can find out basically how everything's going on in your machine. Hopefully, everybody can see this at home. But all my patches are installed that are available for the moment. I should be getting a BIOS update here in a couple of days, but I'm all patched. How about you? One of the other questions was about what we should think about how and whether or not this is truly a big deal. And at least my supposition that this was fairly orchestrated. And anytime you see anything this orchestrated, makes me think that there are a bunch of people that are very nervous at being short a stock, maybe some big guys out there being short a stock, and willing to press the issue. And why do I think this was orchestrated? Well, they had named these things before they ever publicly came out. They'd given them graphics. They had been merchandised. When we talk about, these kind of big name vulnerabilities and or hacks out there, very few times do you see that they get symbols and that they get a marketing campaign along with them. And since a web page with all the stuff was on it a couple of days before the news actually broke, who puts that kind of effort into this kind of thing? And that's somebody with either an axe to grind or some money to be made. Who knows? Maybe a little combination of both. But it looks like the people that broke this had to do with database stuff, and that they had written their database, which would probably take a fairly big hit. And they didn't quite like it. They're a big Linux database company. I think they are public. And they wanted to kind of defend themselves, and the best defense was to get out there before all this was taken care of properly, even though you just had to take a week to get it out. But, you start smelling a few things like I did today. There was an effort out here to kind of move one of the stocks that I'm trading around today. And some of the folks that get the Tech Insider will know what I'm talking about. We'll talk about this too, because there's some clues to be had on why you don't get nervous instantly when you get some dubious bad news. A lot of people are quick to accept it. But as I said, and back to Mark Twain again, a lie can make itself around the world twice before the truth gets out the front door. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're back. Okay. Okay. We'll get some other things going here. Got some emails I needed to read, and we'll send some white light out to those folks. Anyway, before I wrap up, Advanced Micro Devices CEO was out on the boob tube this morning. She said the exact same thing, that they were pretty much like Intel. It is a chip specific issue, and it depends on the BIOS, on the motherboard. Really kind of like saying, hey, I've got a nuclear weapon, but I don't have a missile that'll take it to your country. They may have a good attack, but they don't have a way or a system yet to really move it, and any kind of system like that would be problematic. In fact, the biggest problems, which more likely come on things like Apple, where everybody has the same hardware, and you could make one attack that would get them all, that would work on all the, the specific hardware, and you have a lot of it. A lot of different manufacturers, a lot of different BIOS versions. You basically have to get all those things together to make it work. And, you really got to be kind of desperate to go after it. We also talked about Google already figuring out that they had patched all their machines and their cloud services. Microsoft saying the same thing, and Amazon bringing up the rear saying that all their machines were patched and ready to go too. So why did this come out? Why did it come out early? Well, like I said before, there was a database company that would, even with a fix, would be kind of hit in the speed issue. They decided to write their database in a very specific way, and that one is probably the most impacted. But 98, maybe 99% of the applications available on PCs these days and servers probably not going to be affected at all. Question in the inbox here is whether or not I see any speed changes. And actually, my machine went up a little bit after the patches in speed. So, I do a lot of heavy database stuff and some other stuff, and it actually improved some of the things that I did. But there were some updates anyway, so maybe they found some speed improvements to offset the other stuff already anyway. But you never know. And Apple and Janet hitting iPhone threat to kids' minds. Why is it all happening now? Controlled opposition. Well, there's certainly something going on. As I said earlier, I was going to talk about something that happened to me today, and that was a phony article. As far as I can tell, it's a phony article. Came out around 9 a.m., kind of hit some of the stocks that I had. I was pretty sure it was phony. When the study was done, it wasn't peer reviewed. It came from a dubious source. And there were heavy shorts on the wrong side of the stock. I kind of see that the same way as Intel. There were a lot of people on the wrong side of the stock, and maybe it was a good thing for them to get a couple of days where they could actually cover their shorts. And that takes me back to Jesse Livermore and one of the great stories out there, and then we'll get into a few more stocks. But probably one of the best stories from Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, a book that you should read if you have not, probably the first book you should read in trading. But back in those days, everybody was trying to corner the market, and Jesse was trying to corner the market short, I think, in wheat. And they kept pushing the price up on wheat. And he couldn't get out of the trade. Everybody knew he was had long. So he secretly demolished, for a very short amount of time, the price of corn by selling huge amounts of corn through a third party. And everybody thought, well, if corn's going down, then wheat's going down. And they all started selling their wheat. And why he still lost money, he was able to create a market where he could get out of it fairly well. I think we had a lot of people sitting on the wrong, big hedge funds sitting on the wrong side, and we may be seeing a little of these fun and games from Intel and the whole that issue to some of the stuff that I'm seeing today. But I knew enough about the technology that this company was in, and that's where sometimes knowing a little bit more actually pays off. I didn't freak out. I dove in, bought the bottom, and I'll sell out at the end of the day. But I'm going to be able to take what could have been a bad day and turn it into not much change at all. So we'll talk about more. Anyway, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648, and we'll start looking at some stocks out here. Want to look at some of the bigger ones, see if there's anything that really changed. A lot of rumors and stuff. As I said, kind of a nervous market going into earnings. And Seagate Technology took off today, back up, finished its gap. It's going to do so with some decent volume. This gap started back on the 26th of April with 35 million shares to the downside, doing about 20 million shares to the upside right now. So it's going to be light on volume. And this is kind of where you want to start taking a big look when these things fill about half. So I would have been looking at short 47 or 48 out here. This one did spike higher, go back down to about 46. The whole idea is that they're going to be making a boat full of money on Ripple, not Mad Dog 2020, but Ripple. And I think there's a lot more to the story, but my guess is a lot of people are getting way out over the tips of their skis on Bitcoin and blockchain issues. There was something in this morning that brought up a comment for me in Larry Pesavento's show, and that was, when blockchain comes, what is it really going to do? And to me, one of the more interesting things is that you can't fib because everybody knows what you have. And that's kind of the promise of Bitcoin, or of blockchain, is having a decentralized shared ledger that everybody agrees on before it goes any further. And if you don't agree on it, then everybody just has to stand around in a Mexican standoff with the guns pointed at each other until someone says something, right? Either retract the transaction or go forward with it. But this would be a big thing when we're talking about volatility in the market. A great deal of what we also see is naked short selling in the market. Nobody's really gone after this heavily. If you short shares that you do not have and you're a big street name, you can get up to 3 days to cover them. In fact, I think on one of the bigger websites, I'll look for it during the break, you can see the list of people that are supposed to deliver and have it. And they will occasionally find these folks. But what would happen if blockchain actually existed in the market? Well, you'd know exactly that those folks didn't have the shares to transmit, and they couldn't push the price down, maybe even temporarily, to get the rest of their shorts out of the market. And those big stock operators would be seeing a different world where it wouldn't be as easy to manipulate the price of the stock. But
if you haven't tried David White's daily trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, then this month is your perfect opportunity. On January 17th at 5 p.m., Dave will be hosting a special subscriber webinar where he'll be presenting on the newest feature in his newsletter, short-term sector charts that work on both the madness and wisdom of crowds. Join Dave on January 17th as he describes the method he uses to recognize these signals on a sector-by-sector basis, and as he discusses how he used this new tool to buy the gold miners in their seemingly darkest hour in December. And all new subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. If you're a trader scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity, then now is a great time to sign up for the Path of Least Resistance. For all the information and for details on Dave's subscriber event taking place January 17th, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And during the break, there was a political hack on TV dissing the Intel CEO. So I think everybody just willing to use any excuse out there to go after Intel at the moment, which is kind of weird since you could hit everybody with a shotgun on this issue. So why are you picked out? I always say Hitler got to complain because Stalin actually killed more people, but Hitler gets all the love. What can you say? Same kind of thing here. Anyway, Seagate, we were talking about that. It's up. Also, more interesting to me out here was Tesla. Tesla had been shorted for about 30 days unmercifully. Friday's the first day that they fell way down. People way off the short bus on Tesla. And this thing rockets up. Not a lot of interesting news out there that I thought. There was some eye candy kind of news, but not much going on. Volume's fairly decent. Again, if you're wanting to short this thing, like I said, this thing has been powerfully short. I wanted at least 345. With this kind of move today and a little bit of juice, this thing could get it and see 360 again. If that comes up, everybody continues to quit shorting. That 360 would be where you would look to see this thing possibly have real problems. And maybe when the market is ready to turn down too, that would help. But until the market really gives some kind of sell signal, which I haven't seen, I continue to sit on my hands on Tesla as a $300 stock. Eventually, I think will go to 40, but that's just me. GoPro, nothing new to see here other than the fact that this thing gapped down fairly strongly, got down to $5.04 this morning. Would have been kind of a little bit of a buy down there. It's trading up at 663. So it was off 20%. It's now off 12%. But you would have to have been pretty strong to be buying down there at just over $5. Of course, by 10:30, the CEO is out there saying that he's up for sale. But this stock tracks so close to another one out here that I think it's the GoPro of this year, and that's Roku. This got down to 42.97. A lot of volatility in this one today too. But again, you got huge short interest, and it can take 3, 6, 9 months to burn those kind of short sellers off. And finally, when they go away, is when these things generally tend to fall. So that's why paying so close attention to Tesla. See. Comrade Oprah is out saying that she wants to run for president and bring us all into the glorious days of collectivism, I guess, is her policy, as far as I can tell. Where's Simon and Advent? Advent? Probably not the right word. Advent? I'll think of it. Anti-communist, anyway. Knowing that through 6,000 years of recorded history, it's always failed, but there's always someone out there that's kind of like one of those Jedi, what do you call it? Jedi mind tricks. Socialism and communism kind of work on the weak-minded. And, well, anyway, she says she's going to run for president. I have no idea why this thing runs for that, other than maybe she gets a little bit more free advertising in the coming years. I don't think she'll run, actually, but maybe there were some shorts in this, maybe some other stuff going on, but I don't suspect that there's much going on for the Oprah. And kind of interesting also that someone with a product that doesn't quite work, and she hadn't lost any weight, can still swing so much weight. Is interesting to me. You're going back into the previous November 7th high, $54.47 with 10 million shares, with 4.42 million shares. Yes, they all knew. They all knew. And you know what? I knew back in the 90s when I spent lots of time out there that they were all, a lot of deviants would be the easiest way to say. So what else do we have to look at? That's the ones kind of making news out here. Wanted to look at some other sectors out here. The SMHs, SMH. And what else do we have? You know, again, you had kind of a pullback. I don't see anything that checks the SMHs coming at least to 105, maybe 105.50 in the next couple of days. You had your pullback. It came on light volume. You kind of going up here. The one thing that I would say that is more interesting to me, boy, is it on my list of stuff? It's certainly in there, was at least some decent signals to suggest that maybe the SMHs don't quite get up there today. And I had it in the newsletter today, so hang on, let me find it. Okay. Because I don't think I have it memorized. There it is. The SOX L, which is the Bull 3, is kind of made a Gartley pattern out here. Now, that one kind of broke that top part of the Gartley pattern today. But, you know, if you could close back, that Gartley pattern would be intact a little bit. Can you see it here? You really can't see it. It's kind of, let's do this. Let's kind of get down to a little smaller pattern and turn this up so you can kind of see it. There it is. And you can see how today we kind of went up a little bit, but no juice. So maybe this gets extended into a butterfly. But they're just right now, just not a whole lot of juice on these legs up in the SMHs. And no matter which way you take it, whether you look at this low of December 5th being the low and this thing is meandering higher, or you actually look at this as a ABC on the way up, there hasn't been a lot of juice on these days when they've gone back higher. But that was a Gartley until today. It was kind of at the upper levels. So could you see this thing turn into that? I think you could. I'm going to be doing a webinar on my sector indicator, and you're pretty much at the highest levels in the SMHs that you can get. So the best generally you're hoping for is this thing to move sideways over the next 5 days or something, and let maybe that overbought condition burn off, or this thing actually getting a little bit of a pullback. But I don't see that even with light volume today. There's nothing really to stand in the way of this going back and testing the 170, 180 over the next few days. And the question is, at that point, does it go and turn this into a butterfly? And that's where we see an eventual top in semis. That could take another week. We'll be back.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks! Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we're back. Interesting. So we'll go on here, see if there's anything moving in the markets. Trying to get a lot done. Still up 4 on the Dow and the S&P. The Nasdaq's up 20. The Russell's up 2. Again, like I said, not expecting a whole lot for the indexes this week. Maybe they move a little bit, but I think we're kind of in a waiting period. Either where people try to sell off a little bit going into earnings, and then you see another rise. In fact, the most bullish thing would be people get a little nervous right here. But, it's going to be not so much about the earnings. I think they're going to be fine, if not a little bit better. It's going to be what the implications are of the tax policies that these companies initiate. When Apple comes out, it's going to be all about how much and how fast they repatriate that money. Many of the other big companies, but there's $2 trillion of repatriatable money sitting on the sidelines, and that cash is going to come back in. That's going to be the push for a stronger dollar. At the same time, why everything else is pushing for a weaker dollar for federal spending. And it's a lot's going to be about how these guys talk about how fast, how quick they repatriate that cash. Because again, that's going to be, either additional dividends or one-time dividends for the most part. And it's going to be very tough to get these guys with big cash to go away or to go down, why they have an implied put underneath them for almost all this stuff. All the humor of the den. Anyway, I got some emails here, so let's check and see what these guys are talking about. Okay, IBM. Anything new happening in it? Certainly, I think it's kind of interesting to see this. One of the bigger things is that Buffett hasn't really announced any more selling. But this is back up, challenging the October 23rd high at 162.51. This is kind of interesting. We had 5.2 million shares on Friday, 3.1 million shares today. That's going into a high that had 30 million shares back on that October 23rd. If we look back a little bit farther, we'll go back just a little bit farther in the Wayback Machine. That is the big gap down where we found out Buffett was selling at least a third of his big position. Now, IBM's gotten a little juice out here because they've gotten to be able to talk a little bit more about coming products, i.e. their quantum computer initiative, which is doing fairly well compared to some of the other things. They've also been able to make their cloud services a little bit more palatable and not such a big drag on the company anymore. But if you were looking for a continuation in a big move down with the markets, this one kind of showing some fairly decent weakness, and about 167, 168, if the weakness continues and we'd see maybe all the indicators start turning south, that's probably where I would pull the trigger. If you're long this thing, I would say time to ring the register and get out. Other questions about the indexes out here. Applied materials. These things are starting to get into kind of a standard problem. Again, some of these confluence areas working very well, as they did in the case for applied materials. Confluence levels for this one, if you don't have Tom's book, make sure and dig it up. But you've got a nice confluence area here at 48.47 to 48.06. Got to 48.25, right on the kind of the top of it, 48.47. So it got about 10 cents and gave it up, popped right back, and now you're back up at the 682 retracement up here. Energy, a little lacking, but again, these things I think still don't show enough weakness to make me believe that they don't double top. So you could get $60.89 back from applied materials, but certainly the big juice is not in there. You're looking for probably double tops or a huge change in something that I don't see quite yet in some of those. Clack is another one of these guys out here that we can look at. So it actually kind of has run into resistance above this 110 level. We've seen that since June 9th last year. It popped up. It had a lightish volume as it broke up to 114.43, came back into the trading range. Now we're right back up there. Again, not a lot of juice, 500,000 shares so far. You need to be seeing about 1.5 million. We got 1.4 on Friday. Today is up on fairly light juice. So again, one of these problems where you kind of think, hey, this has got to be kind of an issue going forward. But that'd be it. Okay, so what else do we have? I wanted to we looked at GoPro, we looked at some of these other ones. Question about looking at gold here. Do I think anything has changed or I'm still kind of a bull on this thing? And the answer is yes. Don't think anything has changed out here, and we'll probably go sideways for a few days, but I think 127.50 is the target on GLD, and we get back up there. Energy is already much better than this huge pullback from September 7th down to the December 12th low. So if you're talking about coming in with some energy, you actually had some very decent energy off this December 12th low. And fair disclosure, I am long gold and silver miners. So we'll see that. What else do we have out here? Just wanted to see if there was anything else going on. Okay. Just going to look at a couple of things out here and make sure nothing else is going on out here. Let's take a look at CSX. They got earnings coming out, I think, late next week, if I'm not mistaken. It's double topping with volume today. That's a good indication for the industrial sector. December 13th had 6.6 million. We've already got, we've got 3.3 million shares today. Had 6 million going into that high yesterday. This one's kind of holding it. So you had the volume on Friday. got lighter volume out here today as this thing's breaking. And with being in a week, there's a fairly decent pattern of these things just holding on to their highs until earnings. And of course, at 7-8 trading days until then, I think, on CSX. So we'll keep an eye on that. But these things are about as good as they're going to get unless they come out with better earnings. We'll be back after this short timeout.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And got a couple of people wanted to take a look at Disney. Wondering whether or not I wouldn't call it an out-and-out failure of the Star Wars movie, but certainly not as good as other Star Wars movies have done in the past. As I started telling you about Midsummer, that movie was in trouble. They brought in Ron Howard to kind of get the thing back on track, although I don't think he's accredited in that. But if you've seen the movie, it's like joke after joke at the very beginning of it, and then you can kind of see where Ron Howard came in and kind of returned the movie back halfway to kind of the original idea, where maybe there were a few laughs, but it wasn't a chuckle fest. Anyway, Disney down a little bit on the fact that they lost out this weekend. I don't think that there's anything that's changed in the chart. This thing's been moving up. They've got a hard time going ahead Probably, they've got some decent volume, at least compared to the August 1st high. And my thought is, unless the market takes a bath, that Walt Disney will probably hold up. Same thing for Apple. There's a lot of things that you could say that are problematic for Apple. The chart doesn't look all that great. You're getting ready to go back and double top up here in this 177 area. Got a little doji out here today. Maybe you get up there, maybe you don't. But you're really going to need something to happen out here to get everybody moving down. And that means that somebody's probably going to have to move into earnings. And I think Alcoa earnings, next Tuesday or Wednesday from memory. And I think at that point, you're going to have to see a lot of those guys really miss or talk down the tax breaks, which are really hard to do. How are you going to be able to say, yeah, our tax rates went down and that's the problem? Well, they're not going to be able to. So very hard for me to get bearish all the way probably through February with lower deductions in everybody's paycheck. In the meantime, so when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.